What makes you think you deserve it?
When you've been working since you were 13, promised mom by everything. Birds so often, fire talking, scars so dark they steal your dreams. Nightmares to the young and clean. Life will rain for some it seems. Pray for days when heaven stays, but you ain't put no work in for the crown. You ain't put no work in for the crown.
Hello everyone, welcome to the episode 11 of the Unplugging. And today I want to show you guys something real quick. We have two cameras. What's up? Yes.
And then IG streaming a little bit on there for you guys. Well, we've got 3 for the time being, but
Pretty
for like
awesome.
the next 10 minutes.
Pretty awesome. So Leo, what are we talking about today?
Alright guys, hope you guys are having a good week so far, and definitely happy 4th of July coming up very, very soon. Today's topic we have is going to be regarding some female mating strategies, okay? So to kind of start this one off here, I kind of want to give you guys a little bit of an insight, pretty much. Some empiricals and some on just kind of common knowledge. So we know innately women want it all, okay? And the more attractive a woman is, the more she wants. So that's something I think men have to understand from the female side. So we've already spoken in the past episodes on how female hypergamy works. Female hypergamy changes as women age. So obviously, if we're talking about a woman who's peaking, okay, between 18 years old and 24, 25, somewhere around there, she can ask for basically anything she wants. And on top of that, if she's beautiful, if she's attractive, men want her, things like that, like, she has the highest negotiation power, all right? But if she reaches 30, which now we're hitting that borderline of, okay, well, now her fertility is going down. Now her youth is going to start going down. Now her beauty is going to start going down. Now if she didn't take care of herself very well, what's going to happen is, are they going to be incentivized to go for adjustments? Because now gravity is going against them. Are they going to get facelifts? Are they going to get BBLs? Are they going to get implants? Like, there's so many things that kind of go in with that, just so women at a current age compete or can compete against the younger groups. They're always going to do that because women understand that their main agency is their youth and their beauty and their sexuality. So if they're not able to sell that as a commodity, it does hurt them, variably so, in the sexual market, and their sexual market value goes down. So that's something to really consider for you guys out there, and for the women, of course, too. So that's the consensus there on how we're going to start things off. But the other thing I want to start off here, too, as well, is that when it comes to the mating strategies, again, they want it all, but the most general stuff I can just throw out there off a whim. They want a guy who's funny. They want a guy who's charismatic. They want a guy who can handle situations. They want a guy who can be competent, who can handle certain things, who can fix things, who can problem solve very well. Like, these are some of the very common things in which women desire from men, always. And this is even going to the root cause of things. What we're going to talk about today, okay, what I mentioned before, these are some things that sort of come a little after their true mating strategies, all right? Now, as I mentioned, we're going through some mate strategies, but we're going to go a little bit more deeper into what they truly want innately. And we have a bunch of science and a bunch of studies to prove this as well. So sit back, guys. As you know, the Unplugging constantly tries to support all of our facts, all of our theories, all of our thoughts, and even certain things when it comes to axioms and our own sayings with some science. We have to. There are going to be some times where we can go off our own experiences. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Even when we have guests on, we allow them to say what's within their scope, what's within their experience, their circle. There's nothing wrong with that, right? So as long as we can kind of combine certain aspects within reason, I think that's going to really increase the quality of the discussions and such. But moving on to our first point. As I talked about already, being funny and girls want guys to have some similarities to them already. But this comes somewhat afterwards, like I mentioned. The first point we're pretty much going to start off with here, okay, is women look for cues for good health, all right? Now, where are we going with this? That sounds a bit ambiguous, right? That sounds like, oh, well, that could mean anything, right? If he doesn't get sick very often, he doesn't get breakouts on his face, the skin quality, he doesn't get injured all the time, or he doesn't have, like, receding hairline or heart disease, or he's prone to it, or maybe he has celiac disease, like food allergies. Like these are all the things women queue for. Okay, a woman is never going to tell a man or just anyone in general, okay, well, I want this and that, and this and that, and this and that. Like a list that goes all the way to China. We've discussed this on previous podcast episodes. They're never going to do that because they don't feel like they have to. And quite frankly, I sort of agree with them. I'm going to be very honest with you because it's our duty to understand women. Even if we don't understand them entirely, we still need to understand them biologically and innately and also just psychologically as well. All right? Because, again, we are the ones who have the burden of performance. We are the ones who have to build attraction. We are the ones that have to build value. Women don't have to do that. Their jobs are to retain value. They're given value. They're given beauty. They're given youth. They're given fertility. It's their job to retain that. On our end, we have to build all that, as I mentioned before. So that's why the burden of performance is on us. Attraction is not the same for both ends, and we're probably even going to go through that in a sexual theory study, which we were able to find. So going off what I was saying before, physical attraction, of course, is going to be something, okay? But on the male side, when it comes to the female side, okay, they look for way more things because they're more harsh. We've even shown the OkCupid studies where women are very harsh with judgments on men. And Chris, like,
they are.
You can give your own piece on this one. I see that you told me that you used dating apps before and such.
Yeah,
so
I used a lot of dating apps in my life.
Since
2015, I started using them.
2015. So
yeah.
With your own empirical experience, what are your thoughts on how harshly women rate men when it comes to dating?
It's super harsh. I would say like it's a waste of time. Like you really got to get yourself together and be somebody before you even start messing around with dating apps. It used to be easy back in the day though. In 2015, 2016, everybody it was like fair game. But now like all these people who are really built up, like really are the ones that are taking all the girls right now.
Yeah. That's always going to be
7%, you know what I'm saying? Like it's hard to compete, bro. It's not for everybody.
It's definitely not going to be for everybody. And here's the thing about even dating apps, right? We're going to hear some people saying, this is mostly coming from girls, right? They're going to, well, both sides, I would say. Maybe a little bit more on the girl side.
Right.
If we're having like an episode and we have like, let's say a female on the side, she's going to, as a guest, she's going to come on and most likely say, well, women control the sexual market. I will agree with her.
Yeah.
If we take out the 10% of men from the equation, if we include the top 5 or 10% of men, they are the ones who actually control the sexual market.
No, true.
Why do they control the sexual market? The viewers are probably asking, right? They control it because they are the ones who women desire the most. And we've even talked about the supply and demand. Since the supply is low on those high value men, but the demand is high for women, who controls? Who controls what now? It's the men who control it because there's a short stack of supply for them. So because the demand is so high from the female side, they are the ones, those men, they are the ones who can pretty much run circles around all these other girls. They really can. Even if they're the prettiest, even if they have chastity, they can have all this. These are the types of guys, if willing to, if they have the agency and they have the audacity even to do it, they'll do it because they know they can. They know they just can. That was a little bit off topic and such, but that's still something I want to add on to this topic and such. So regarding the physical attractiveness and such, right? Symmetry is something we can start off with, right? So you're going to notice, even from the book I'm reading, you're going to have some pictures. If you compare a side-by-side comparison of maybe a young guy in his 20s versus like a 40-year-old or 50-year-old or maybe even close age, and you see that there's symmetry, women look for symmetrical sides of their face. So if they see that maybe there's like a defect or some problem with a man's face where maybe one side's like lobbing a little bit more, or
sometimes with the eyebrows too. Like one eyebrow is like higher than the other or something.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes, women judge that.
Yeah.
Or maybe they see that one ear is kind of like dropped a little bit more than the other, or maybe with their nose is tilted a little bit more towards the left or right sides, or just dropped down a little bit too much. Women judge for that. They judge for that because the symmetricalness, what that means is if there's asymmetries, what that tells the woman, even though she doesn't know it, one, she is now afraid of genetic defects when it comes to offspring. That's number one. Number two, scientifically, and we can actually begin with this one, Chris. We can show this study off. This one is called Women Want Facial Symmetry from Men. This is in the women's folder.
Women want. Hold on a second. Let me get this little bigger here.
Yeah, while he's looking for that, so this is another thing. So the reason for that also, guys, besides the obvious, besides the genetic stuff, right? Besides that, what they're gonna look for when it comes to that, especially when it comes to the science, is there's going to be fewer respiratory illnesses. Okay.
Which one is it?
It's going to be Women Want Facial Symmetry from Men.
I don't see it here. Is it a new one? Because I downloaded a new one.
You can check the Discord.
I'll check the Discord.
Yeah, because that's an interesting one. But even if we don't have it on there, that's totally fine.
Maybe we do, man.
It's not on Discord?
No, it's not here.
It's not on the recent
I
one.
forgot
Okay.
to put it up.
No, that's fine. No worries. So even with that study, we'll put that post up on later on. Women have an overabundance of just wanting men with higher symmetry because there's going to be fewer defects when it comes to offspring. There's going to be a lower risk when it comes to respiratory illnesses. But on top of that as well, there's going to be better disease resistance. Now, some of you will be like, whoa, there's that much when it comes to facial symmetry? Yeah, there is. And women look for that, believe it or not. And I'm even willing to bet that women don't even realize that they're looking for that. If I were to tell them right now, or if they're watching this podcast right now, I'd be like, oh, interesting. I probably didn't do some men a favor on this. Because now they're going to be even more harsh when it comes to their mating strategies. Like, okay, so now I know even more. And this is for the ladies. Like, again, you have the right to be choosy. You have the right to choose someone who's going to take care of you. You have the right to do that. But as we talked in the past episodes, you have to be able to be what the man wants too. So remember that, okay? So facial symmetry definitely matters. The second thing here, and I believe I saw this study while you were scrolling through, is, believe it or not, guys, I hate to break it to you guys. Okay, so I think with this episode, I think men are probably not going to like some of the things I say because...
Are you destroying hopes or what?
No, what I'm showing basically is I'm educating women on this one, so they're going to improve on their mating strategies.
Oh, okay.
But this also goes against men as well because if they have these things that don't resort to better mating strategies on their end from the reciprocation from the female, that's going to hinder them.
Right.
Yeah. Dr. Cervantes, appreciate you coming on in here, and thank you too for joining in over here on the podcast and such. Very, very good. I can't see Papo and Kevin. All right, appreciate you coming on in, guys. Thank you for joining. Enjoy the content. So we can pull this study up. So this study right here, the next one is going to be called, let's see, Deep Voices Show Sexual Maturity in a Man. Oh, I'm sorry. Women prefer men with deeper voices.
Yeah, I was about to say.
I see it. Go back down. And go up a little bit. There it is.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So women prefer men with deeper voices. All right. Now, is it going to be the end all be all if you don't have a deep voice? No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Because the one thing I'm going to mention is there are many other ways men can appear masculine, men can appear high value. There are so many other ways. There really are. I'm just telling you guys, the unplugging is just telling you some things that women really want from a guy. And it's okay, innately and biologically, if you're not able to supply that, that's totally fine. But again, this is all education. Like the unplugging's goal is to make you guys more informed and well aware of what each of the sexes want and how to behave accordingly. All right. So if we're coming here onto this study here, now this study, somewhat of an old one, but even then, there are still some studies that replicate this one. But of course, I'm not going to show like 20,000 of them because we just need only one, maybe two max. We don't need to keep on showing multiples. So this one's back from 2005 of March. And Chris, you're going to highlight that one up there. The title, Manipulations of Fundamental Informant Frequencies Influence the Attractiveness of Human Male Voices. So kind of just going quickly off the abstract here, lowering the fundamental frequencies and or increasing apparent vocal track lengths of male voices increased females' ratings of masculinity, size, and age of the speaker. Peer group females prefer male voices with 1, lowered fundamental frequencies to those with raised fundamental frequencies, and 2, original frequencies to male voices with raised fundamental frequencies and decreased apparent vocal tract lengths. And the final part, he will just say, this suggests that male voices with acoustic characteristics that reflect full sexual maturity may be attractive. Now, if we go down a little bit more, we can kind of see a few of like some other things here. Oh, okay, there's no tracks here. Okay, interesting. There's nothing here to like go. Yeah, this was I think they watered this one down. It was one of those sites that ended up getting watered down, or you have to like kind of pay for it or something like that. But basically, they did a whole test, and they paired them, and then they wanted to have female tests come on in here, and they had different vocal tracks. Were they more aroused or attracted to men who had like higher pitched voices, maybe like in the middle, or more of like the bass deep voices? And the results will show that they're more attracted to the guys who have deeper voices. Oh, so that's really good. And then if you look at the section here, I didn't highlight this one because it's a small one. It didn't give me like graphs or anything, which I wanted. Right. But if the guys come on in here and you go on to masculinity, size, and age, we use pair sample T tests of mean ratings of masculinity, size, and age to test the effect that the manipulations had on female listeners. These tests compared a mean rating from each female for each vocal group. Voices with increased apparent vocal tract lengths were rated larger, more masculine, and older than voices with decreased apparent vocal tract lengths. Table 2, which I wish we had. It doesn't give me any tables here, but that's the deeper voices. So they're more attracted innately to men with deeper voices. If you guys look into even the evolutionary psychology book by David Buss, it's going to mention more on men who have deeper voices demonstrates to women that they have sexual maturity. They're more mature sexually. So that's going to give them an arousing edge, I want to say, to the men who don't really have those types of low-pitched voices, the deeper bass voices and things like that. So we're done with this one here. I kind of just wish this one had a graph, but maybe next time. Maybe we'll show a different study involving the graphs. So we've talked about facial symmetry and deeper voices. So those are two different things, and we've even scientifically shown this, except for the facial symmetry one. Maybe we'll show that next time. But these are things, again, these are just 2 things. We still have a bit of a list here on what women innately are going to go for, right? So kind of going off that one and such, and kind of topping off that one as well, other features, masculine features for them are going to be like chiseled jawlines, right? So the jawlines are going to show more when men are more physically in shape. So if we're talking about guys who, they're in the obese category and there's like a lot of like chunkiness and fat kind of covering the chin and everything, you're not going to see. Yeah, you won't see that. You're not going to see the jawline. So, gentlemen, just me telling you that.
Also, breathing helps through the nose. It helps you build the jaw.
I heard about that one. Yeah, the breathing. There's some technical breathing in which they have classes for breathing. Like
if you're a mouth breather, like you actually just form your face as you're growing up as a kid.
Yeah, like just breathing properly, and also just working out, and even working on your neck muscles. Yeah. That helps out with building a little bit, at least the muscles surrounding the neck, and then going into the jawline and everything like that, just so you can have a little bit of a shape. That's also good. Mm-hmm. I heard there was some vitamins as well that can help out with that. I forget which ones, but that's...
Really? Vitamins?
Yeah, it's like a few vitamins. It's not going to be like the biggest thing in the world. Like at the end of the day, just losing the fat and working out like that, that's what's going to help out form the face a little bit. Even like when you're struggling, like I heard from somewhere, I don't have the study or anything, I just want to throw this out there. I heard from somewhere that even when you're working out and you're like pressing hard like that with your teeth, it's forming a little bit. It's working out the muscles around here, things like that.
I heard about that too.
Yeah, so we'll probably pull up a study one of these days and we talk about a little bit about working out and how to form the body a little bit. So keep that in mind, guys. Working out is key, guys. Like women are attracted to men who can take care of themselves because guess what? At the end of the day, like when you show, when a woman sees a man, it's just gonna constantly just form their bodies up. All right. When men show that they can be formidable, they can defend, they can protect, women are naturally going to be inclined to be attracted to those type of guys. There's no question about it. We're going to log off here on IG, guys. Feel free to log us on for YouTube, and then we'll catch you guys soon. Take care. Yeah, that's all good. Good. All right, so we're back on here. Very good. So thank you guys for joining us here and such. So we're looking good. We're looking good so far. Now, tallness, height, okay? Like, I think, I'll be honest with you, I think us talking about this again, when we have some men, of course, that aren't even reaching 5'8". Okay, the average is 5'8". So we have a majority. The average, by definition, is the majority, okay? So the majority is going to be 5'8". Okay, that's the average, right?
Yeah.
But even that's not enough for female hypergamy.
No, they want 6 feet
Let's pull up this one now.
minimum.
Women prefer tall men. I just named it something simple like that. Very, very simple. Let's pull this one up. Now, quite frankly, this one I think is a bit of a larger study. This one's a bit of a large study. It's 15 pages. There are certain formulas in which are found here, but I wanted to do some highlights here.
Okay.
Yep.
1 second. Yeah, I got it.
Just to kind of get on with the highlights here and such. So, a study from 2010 made choice in human stature.
Oh, it's too big.
Too big. Decrease the size here.
Yeah, let me decrease the size here. Give me 1 second.
So we can kind of read a little bit off here. Made choice in human stature. Homogamy as a unified framework for understanding mating preferences. All right. So, kind of just jumping straight into this one. We can already see here, as I put a note here, that it's 5'8" would be considered average. But according to this study, women choose at least 6 feet or past it. All right. Now again, not the end all be all. For the gentlemen out there who aren't even average, it's okay. I'll say a quick solution here. A very quick solution for men who aren't even average height: work out. Work on your shoulder to waist ratio. And we're going to pull up a study actually regarding that very soon. How women prefer broad shoulders. Like, your attraction point, a male's physical attraction point is going to be the shoulders, going onto the ratio of the waist. Well, we'll get to that. I don't want to spoil that too early. But this one here, as we can see, 5'8" would be considered average, but women choose above height past 6 feet. Study was published or accepted back in 2010, and we can see here from my first highlight here up to 2010, both women and men prefer individuals who are significantly taller than average. All major findings are confirmed by a reanalysis of previously published data. So this is kind of like a combination of other studies put in one, which is really nice.
Women and men prefer individuals, or slightly?
It's both. It's both. Yeah. So men, the 5'8" to 6" is going to be on the women's side, that they want a man who's at least 6 feet. The average is 5'8" according to just the norm.
Right.
But
I mean, I'm just saying, I prefer my girls short, you know. But
yeah. Well, but our tall is different from their tall. So it's 5'8" is not for us. The 5'8" is the average for them, and then 6 feet is preferred for them. So if we scroll down here, we can see a little bit more. Now, this one's kind of a wordy study. I don't believe I highlighted too much here, but this is the one thing I didn't like. I didn't like how the data is sideways.
Right.
But if you can see, if you look at the top here where it says table 1 on the side, if you look where it says favorite height, so if you see favorite height, CM, or relationship between height of the stimulus and preference.
Oh, right.
There it is, yeah. So you can see from different methods and number of judges, because the study, the way this was done is that they had judges from different sexes kind of judging that. So we can kind of see here, and we have demographics here all the way to the left from. Oh, there you go. Okay, so you rotated that. But did it rotate everything else though?
Maybe. Or.
I did. That's okay.
We'll fix it.
That's fine. We can do this one. So kind of going on this one. So we can see just the favorite height. Okay, this is coming from the female side, and 179. That's what it says, right? It's blocking from. Okay, there it is. 179. That's 5'8", 5'9". I believe somewhere around there. Okay, so that's the average. And if we scroll a little bit more down, we can see tall is considered greater than 182.8 centimeters. Okay. And then, because they have different ranges there. Tall, that's you're hitting the 6 foot at that point now. And then we have other ones that are going to say they're positively linear or they're not quadratic. Some of them are going to say, well, taller than women. Just in general are going to say that they want men to be taller than them. So that's going to vary because some girls are just really, really short. So maybe they might not find a 6 foot guy that much. Like, it's too tall for them at that point. It's a little too tall. But
I've seen couples that are kind of ridiculous with really short women and super tall guys, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, but in general, they want tall. They want taller than them. But if we're talking about the norm, averagely they want preferring 6 feet, 6 feet and above. And you can see some of them are just NA, some of them are having positive correlations with newspaper ads. But you can see the number. You only see 179.7 one time here. You see everything else you see from the female perspective is 180 and above, which we're getting past the average. That's either 5'9" or going into 6 feet and above.
Yep.
Now, if we scroll down, however, now we look at the male side. Okay, so it's titled Studies on Male Preferences. Okay, so this is to answer you. And look at the first one here. So favorite height, the first one's 162.8. So that's about 5'6". See the first one here for US 16 and 24 years for stated preference. So number of judges, we have 79 judges judging. They prefer at least 162. So that's equal. That's going to be plus or minus 5'6". So if you could be a little bit higher than 5'6" or a little bit lower than 5'6", right? And if we're kind of just going off a little bit more downward, some of them are going to say independent, and then we have some tall here. So tall 177. No, I'm sorry, medium is going to be 177, and then small is going to be, greater than small will be considered 162.6, and then less than small, or that'll be 147, so that's pretty small from that point on. So we can see
one is tall, then this is medium, and then this is medium, right?
Yeah, the medium is going to be the 177.
No, I think that's tall.
Oh, you think? Oh, okay. Actually,
and then
because I'm going off the equal sign here.
Why does it say equal?
Actually, no, you might be right. The tall is the 177, medium is 162, and then you have greater.
Small.
Yeah. Okay. The small will be. Okay. Yeah. So greater than.
It shouldn't be an equal sign, should it? Or I don't know.
The equal sign is kind of weird on
Throw me
that
off too.
Yeah. No, you're right. The tall is the 177, the medium is going to be 162, and then small 147. Yeah. 100%. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So the preferences for both sexes are going to be different, vastly different. And this just goes to show again, like, we're not the same.
Nope.
And then women are not the same. Like, look at our preferences.
Not even close.
Even just on height, like some people might consider this kind of a degenerative norm, a variable, but even this just shows, like, look at our preferences. They're vastly different. Yeah. Like, it's, like, of course,
the funny thing is, they think that their preferences is what we find attractive in them, and it's not true at all.
We're gonna pull up a study here called the sexual theory.
Excuse the fireworks, guys.
We got the fireworks already in the background. But just adding on to what Chris is saying, we're gonna show you guys a study if we have time about sexual strategies theory. Okay, and that already has about maybe like 20 different studies with different preferences. So if you guys don't believe us, men and women, they have similar preferences, blah blah blah. They're not that different. Like, oh, you are sadly mistaken. Let me tell you, you are horrendously sadly mistaken. So we're done with this one here. I don't think there are any other highlights. I know there's another graph at the bottom showing like different bodily functions,
right?
The structures of them and such, but I didn't highlight those. And look, you have all those different.
These?
Yeah, they have all those.
Okay.
Yeah, but look at all the other formulas they have down there. It's like, you guys are going in on the formulas here. I didn't want to read any of that.
Yeah, they went deep in this study.
Yeah, it's very, very deep. Because it goes off a little bit more of like the stimuluses with like brain function, the blood waves, of like what they find attractive when they see things like that. I believe that's what they show. So that's...
Oh, you got one here.
Yeah, both women and men prefer individuals who are significantly taller than average.
Well, yeah, in generality, maybe, but...
Yeah, but remember, like, what women's average
I know,
men is
it's
different.
I know.
Exactly, yeah. Like, for me, I wouldn't want a woman who's, like, super duper short, either. It's like,
yeah.
Not too short. I would like
above 5 feet will be my preference, but...
Yeah, I would like to be taller than her, of course.
Yeah.
Even if she's, like, reaching, like, my chin or something, then it's like, okay, that's fine, not a big deal. Just me. So we're done with this one here, guys. Very, very good. So that kind of wraps up a little bit on... Oh, no, we're not done yet, actually. Okay. Dr. Cervantes, before we get on to our next topic here, are women like men with lots of money? Absolutely.
That's true.
Absolutely. And we're actually going to go off very soon. Don't you worry. We're going to go off with a study very soon on different types of preferences. We're just going over right now on the female side. On another episode, we'll go on the male side. But we'll kind of move along here and such. So the last thing I kind of want to bring up here when it comes to the good health and genes to kind of pass on for the offspring, we're going to go over with just in general a good torso. I mentioned in a past podcast episode 1.62 ratio from the shoulder to the waist. Again, gentlemen, that's your physical attractive point. That is your selling point when it comes to the physicality, of course, not when it comes to like the status and the charisma. Like, I get that. We're going to talk about that. Don't you worry, either now or in a different episode. But I'm telling you, the attraction point is going to be here for us. Shoulder to hip ratio. The attraction point for women when it comes to fertility from the men's eyes is going to be waist to hip ratio. All right. So even how we're perceiving our bodily functions, our structure, our circumference is different.
Yeah.
So you see what I mean? Like it's not going to be the same. It's just not going to be the same.
Nope.
And to prove it a little bit more here, let's open up this study. We have this next one here. It is called "Women Prefer Men with Good Torsos."
V-shape, right?
The V-shape, yeah. We got the V-shape one. Look at that one.
Okay.
Now this one here, 2003 study. 2003. Yes.
What's the thought cookies?
Ooh, I want cookies.
What happened to my Zoom?
I want cookies. And then this one opened up a website.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's all right. So, what's this?
What do you see?
This is not the one. Sing and Do Not Stray.
The fuck is this?
What's it? That's wrong study, guys. Well, I promise you I didn't download that one. Yeah, that one opened up something else. This is the one. Yeah, this is the one, guys.
All right.
I don't know what the heck that was.
All right.
So we have this one here, guys. Okay, so a study from 2003. Okay, sex differences in morphological predictors of sexual behavior. Shoulder to hip and waist to hip ratios. Okay, again, men's selling point when it comes to at least the fitness side of it is going to be shoulder to waist. And then for females it's going to be waist to hip. So kind of moving on with our first highlight here, males with high SHR, shoulder to hip ratio, and females with low waist to hip ratio reported sexual intercourse at an early age. So they're able to have intimacy much earlier. Look at that. More sexual partners, so the volume of sexual partners increases, and more extra pair copulations, and having engaged in more instances of intercourse with people who were involved in another relationship. Oh my god! Like talk about polygamy here, or even just talking about like just straight up infidelity, right?
Right.
So check that out, guys. I don't encourage it, but I'm just going off of what the study says. Like even when you have better SHR, infidelity rates could potentially be higher. Look at that. It even goes with the waist to hip ratio for women. Look at that. So kind of scrolling down here, I believe I have some highlights here. Mm-hmm. Oh yes, here we go. So this is from a school. So undergraduate students, 56 females, 60 males from the State University of New York at Albany participate in the study. And what's the mean age? 19.6 years. Okay, so 19, they're about 20 years old. 20 years old, and age ranges from 18 to 44. Subjects were not informed about the purpose of the study. Yeah, because they want it to be randomized. And I already have on the note here, this one doesn't have graphs. It's one of those watered down studies, again, where it doesn't show me everything in the graphs. I wish. But again, for the viewers, you guys have full autonomy and agency to just look at all this stuff, okay? And I have this note here. 1.62 SHR is an ideal ratio. Can you scroll to the left a little bit? You see that note I have on the right?
Yeah, let me just grab this.
There you go. Ratio for men regarding female attraction. So I'm not going to say there's a ubiquitous amount of guys who have 1.62 shoulder to hip ratio. But idealistically, if you guys want to have an episode where we talk about how to get this type of frame, a body frame, we'll definitely have a workout discussion on how we can start building an ideal body for women who want to have the most attraction for you. All right, so keep that in mind. We'll have a video about that.
That'll be interesting.
That will, because again, the selling point. We have the selling point being the shoulders.
Right.
And the broadness. And the reason for that, too, psychologically, too, I want to add on, it's not showing here on the study, but psychologically, if you want to go deeper into that, women want to feel protected when they are with a man. When a man is tall, has a deeper voice, has broad shoulders, as the ratio I just gave you, they feel more protected. They feel safe because they feel that the man who they are with is formidable. Guys aren't going to mess with other guys like that, for the most part. In fact, I'll even go as far as saying that when men have that type of stature, they're more respected by peers. They're more respected by other men and even other entrepreneurs. So women see that. Even if women don't consciously understand this, they innately and they feel, wow, I feel very protected, and they observe. Women are good observers. They're better at understanding social cues than men are. So when they understand and they see that men are having better interactions with even the opposite sex and just other peers, other men, they know already that they're finding safety with the guy. So keep that in mind, guys. Okay, like fitness is, you should prioritize your fitness. Like this whole dad bod thing. Like, come on, guys. Seriously, you gentlemen, you honestly believe that women go for that. I know there's gonna be people who say, "Oh, I'm okay with a dad bod." Really? We take them to a beach. We could do a whole survey just on ourselves, and then we could do a me search. We could do a whole me search, or just even go to the beach. And who do women look at the most? They look at the guys who are more fit.
Absolutely.
They're not looking at the guys who are out of shape. They're not looking at the guys who look like slobs. They're not looking at those types of guys. Like,
if you do look at them, it's from disgust.
But we also have to be like very honest with each other about this. Like, being honest about each other as well. And again, we spoke about female hypergamy. When women are older, they have less negotiation power. So obviously, when the guys who are fit, in shape, in their 30s, peaking in their prime, of course they're not going to go for women, for the most part, who are in their 30s and 40s and 50s. They're going to go for the younger women. And the younger women, of course, as the competition to the women who are in their 30s and 40s, women are going to look at those types of guys all the time. And on top of that, if you're going to add the symmetry with the face, them being tall, them with the broad shoulders, even the deep voices, like there's so many things that follow up after that. Mm-hmm. If there's one thing I can tell you guys right now, okay, you have to understand female attraction. Any girl, any woman can come up to you and say, well, I think you're a nice guy. That does not mean she's attracted to you. There's a difference between a woman thinking you're nice and thinking that you're attracted to her and her being aroused by you. Ivan, good stuff, my man. Thanks for joining. Miami, MIA, happy 4th of July if we don't see you on July 4th here. Yeah. So, gentlemen, please understand this. Just because a woman thinks you're nice, a lot of girls will say that. That does not mean she's attracted to you. You have to understand from the roots, from the core, what women are innately attracted to. This stuff, and we've just somewhat scratched the surface here. We're not really gonna leave stones unturned here, okay? We're just scratching the surface on this. This is what women innately choose when it comes to finding ideal partners, okay? I'm not talking about women who, if they're just having flings and going out partying and just they're having one-night stands like that. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about that because anything can happen in those moments. If we're talking about a woman who's sitting down with herself, looking at herself in the mirror, if she knows that she's attractive, she has chastity, she has high value, she's got a lot going for her, she's gonna want everything. And again, we even showed a study that is literally titled "Women Want It All," because they do. They do. But again, when it comes to them, when they don't have high negotiation power, they might say stuff, I'm okay with the dad bod, because they have no choice. They have no choice.
Yeah.
They can't attract those types of guys with the V torsos and the shoulders and the deep voices because those men won't like them back. Mm-hmm. Like part of a woman's value is her being able to attract the men she wants or the man she wants. If she cannot attract the man she wants, that's a problem. That's a big problem for her. But again, like we're gonna go into more of like the male strategies in another episode. We're talking more about this one here. So just wanted to throw that little nugget in for you guys. Like understand this is what women innately want. Okay, so we're wrapping up on that one. So the torso, we showed that torso already, right? The V shape. Okay, we did that already. So now we're kind of moving on here. So strolling through, we're going on a little bit more when it comes to women who want to find a mate who has good parenting skills. All right. So this one's a no-brainer. Like again, we've said this on the podcast so many times. A woman's metric of success is she's able to have a family be a mother, raise children, and of course be complementary towards the man's life, while also, of course, being loyal to him. Okay, those are a woman's metric of success. All right. So now that we've kind of established that a little bit more here, okay. Even just this, I think this one's going to be a little bit more on how women can vet properly, a little bit more now with men. Okay. Now when we're talking about a little bit on the vetting strategies, because here's the thing. The reason why I want to bring this up is because we have women who, they're a little bit on the older side, so they're on a clock, right? Yeah. So time is not on their side. They have to find somebody who they're going to have a family with. They have to find somebody who they're going to have kids with. A general rule of thumb I want to give to the ladies out there who, you want to raise a family, okay? You want to raise a family. Obviously, like I said, you don't want to waste time. If you find a man, you shouldn't have to ask him the question if he wants kids. You heard it from the Unplugging, okay? You should not. Just like how we said, how the Unplugging has said that it is not the man who should be asking the woman for a relationship. It is the woman who should be asking the man for the relationship, for the commitment, okay? Mm-hmm. Now we're talking about a different structure from the women's side. Women should not be asking men if they want children, okay? Why do I say that, you're probably asking? Because if you're that person that you don't have negotiation power, the man should be telling you right off the bat if he wants kids, yes or no. Either maybe first date, second date, third date, very early into the vetting period, so that way you're not wasting your time, all right? The man should be initiating that. Not initiating that, okay, we're going to have kids right away. That's not what I mean. What I mean is he should be welcoming and invoking the thought of him wanting children. So if he invokes the thought, okay, you just checked off a bit on your newly found hypergamous strategy. But if you had to kind of push it down his throat, or you had to mention it, you're going to know right off the bat, and especially judging from his answer, he's most likely going to tell you that he doesn't want kids, or he's not thinking about that right now. That is how you know right then and there he doesn't check in to your potential mating strategies, at least the hypergamy strategy, at that instance, especially if you're one of the older ones, okay? That is the Unplugging telling you that. The other thing I do want to mention here is for the ladies who are on a clock here, my other advice here is that you want to try to be content with the idea that the man, whoever comes into your life, may not give you children. You have to be willing to accept the fact that the man or a man is not going to give you children, okay? But of course, we talked about this also, insemination. We talked about adopting. We talked about there's options, okay? Surrogate, that's something else as well, right? But that one's probably going to be a little bit more complicated. Yeah. I always ask them on first date. But Ivan, are you asking them if you want it? Are you asking the woman if she wants kids on the first date? Is that what you're implying? Because if so, then it's like, okay, cool. That's cool, I guess. But yeah, this is for the ladies again. Like, you guys got to understand, like, if you're on that clock, you don't have that negotiation power. You don't have time to waste. This goes especially for dating. Okay, this goes for dating apps and even matchmaking. A good strategy for the ladies is if you're on a dating app and you look at the guys' profiles. Yes, okay, so yeah, that's fine. I mean, that's great. Yeah, idealistically, again, like I think we had on one of our episodes, that if a woman comes up to me and she tells me, oh, I want to focus on my career, I want to focus on traveling, I want to focus on having all these experiences at at her peaking age, and she says she wants to have kids at like 30 something years old, close to 40, it's like, whoa, hold on a second. That's not gonna happen. That's just not gonna happen. If she says yes, it will be the last date. Oh, so you're saying if she says yes, that she wants to have kids, that's the last date. Is that what you're saying? Yeah. Okay. If that's what you're saying, then yeah, because you're basically telling us you don't want kids and things like that. Well, that's good because because you don't want to waste her time. Again, because if she says yes and you don't want kids, it's like you don't want to get her hopes up. So you're doing the right thing by letting her know, like, look, okay, like, do you want kids? Yes or no? Because I can tell you right now, if I want kids, yes or no, so we're not wasting anybody's time here, all right? Right. So that's good. That's good. It's good vetting strategy as well. So again, this goes with the dating apps. If you see on profiles for men that they want a family, they want kids, that's a good indicator. Okay, that's an option for you. But even then, like matchmaking services, which you're going to have to pay. You're going to have to pay a fee for those. At least the people behind the servicing of the matchmaking website or application, they're going to filter out the men for you on who wants a family, who doesn't want a family. So that way they're not, the app is not wasting time, the matchmaking isn't wasting your time. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind, guys. That was a little bit of another nugget I want to throw in here. The other thing, too, is this is for the ladies as well. Another vetting strategy for you guys when it comes to children. When it comes to the children as well, like this is for the men as well. Women find attraction when you are taking care of a being, whether it is a child, a pet, a dog, a bird, like anything in which they're smaller than you are and they need protection and they need resources from you. Okay? So if they see you with a dog, like, we're gonna see guys, right? It's either they're walking their dog or they have like this little jacket here, like this strap where they put the dog on their chest or on their back and they're carrying them around, things like that.
That's a little weird, but yeah.
that might be weird to you, or maybe even to me, who knows? But believe it or not, women find attraction to that because they want to find qualifying qualities in which make the man desirable for taking care of children. There are theories and there are even scientific proven studies. Women who, if they see men with children versus them without children, they find the men with children more attractive.
That's interesting.
It's super interesting. I think
I knew about the dog stuff. That's why a lot of guys get dogs, but I don't know about the kids.
Yeah, because it's and this is why too. Like, what we're gonna notice here. This is gonna be a little bit of a side note. Let me see here. Dr. Zaramantes, let's see here. If she wants kids, that's a big red flag. Well, if she's in her late 30s, or even 30s, early 30s, like she just turned 30, and then past that, it's like, it's kind of late for you to have kids. Not entirely. They can still have kids, obviously, but you gotta understand that, like, this is what I tell gentlemen all the time, like, the risk for birth defects, for miscarriages, all that increases. And on top of that, again, like women lose up to 70 to 80% of their eggs when they hit 30 and above. So
I think it's 35, like right when it starts increasing, for birth defects and stuff like that.
It depends on who you're asking. Like some doctors will tell you 33, some of them will say 35, some will even say 30. But from what we've looked at, there's a border that gets touched when they hit 30. So that's when they start kind of changing in their biology. So their hormones go out of whack. Fertility starts to drop a little bit. Things change when women are in their 30s. Especially if we're talking about women who get off birth control, who get off like hormonal contraceptives, all those things. And we talked about this with the episode with Julie. Like we even said, and you guys heard it here on the podcast, like just don't go on birth control. Don't go on hormonal contraceptives. Like you can't deal with people who are just constantly changing the way they are based off certain contraceptives hormonally or drugs that they're taking. Can you imagine that? A girl can come up to you at any day, any point, and then just say, "Oh, I love you, ha 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 ha," and this is when she's off birth control. But when she goes on it, she acts completely different. Or vice versa. What if she doesn't really like you that much, or like the arousal factor, but then she's on birth control and then she's all over you, and then she gets off it, now she's not all over you. And then she dismisses the fact of having kids with you. She dismisses the fact of having marriage with you. She dismisses the fact of having an LTR, a long-term relation with you. You know what I mean? Like there's too much risk with that. There's just way too many risks. There's an overabundance of risks, and there's just no point in coming up with, "Oh well, I want you to go on birth control because I'm afraid to get you pregnant." Like, no, guys, just wear condoms, guys. Okay, like just do it. I get it. Like the rubbery feel, I get it for some guys. Or if you're brave enough, then just pull out early, man. That's all I can tell you. That's really all I can tell you. But the birth controls and everything like that, anything that changes a woman hormonally, bad idea.
It does. I think it does permanent damage as well if you stay for it. If you use it too long.
There's some studies also, I believe, where it increases the risk for like breast cancer.
Yeah.
It increases. Yeah. It's just not good for them. It's just not good. And on top of that, like kind of adding on to this one as well, like I know there are gonna be some women who say they can freeze eggs. But that doesn't work very often. Number one, it's expensive. It's super duper expensive, and it rarely works. Rarely. So again, like you're doing all of these manipulations to your body internally in which it's going to be hard to just either remove surgically or to just change up. It's not worth it. Like, can you imagine, like, you're going to the hospital or you're just going anywhere and you're constantly changing your internal organs or you're constantly getting replacements? Like, it's not fun.
No, it's not good, man.
It's not fun, guys. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's not worth it. But yeah, so just coming back on this one here, like with the pets, like just having pets. Now, me personally, I'm not a pet person. I'll be very honest with you guys, okay? Like, I'm just not. If it comes down to it, where if I'm with somebody and we have a discussion, we gotta have a discussion, because I had a past relationship where it was kind of shoved down my throat to have a second pet. I regret that decision wholeheartedly. That's on me, but we'll not get into that. But even so, for men, if you guys want to increase your attraction points for women, at least in that realm, okay, just taking care of pets, a cat, a dog, nurturing a being in which needs protection from you, women find that extremely attractive. All right, very, very attractive. I don't even think we need studies to prove that. Like, it's just going off empirically, women enjoy that. Like, that's why you see girls, like, if they see a baby, they say, oh my god, look how cute this baby is, oh my god. Or they see, like, oh, look at the cute doggy, oh my god. And then they see, and then who's the owner? They're gonna look at the guy and be like, oh wow, that's your dog, that's your kid, that's your baby. Like, they get more intrigued. Yeah. They become more intrigued by that.
That's true.
Right? Let's see here. At 30s, they get desperate for getting pregnant. Yeah, baby rabies. The baby rabies. We're going to talk about that in a future episode, actually, the baby rabies. And that's another red flag, by the way. We'll get into another video about that one. So, yeah, just taking care of the younger ones. Right. Now, let me see here. And we've already talked about just the vetting process, how if a man already mentions kind of at the beginning for the ladies, if they want a family and kids, okay, now that's a safe bet for you guys to kind of continue on, okay? Yes. Now, and even so, right, like, even if men already have children, women will still find them attractive. Taking care of children because they have kids. And I'm going to tell you also why they find it also, one, it's attractive for them, but also, here's the thing when it comes to the psychology of women. And I think we even talked about this probably in our first episode, right? The thing with...
I don't remember the first episode.
Yeah,
it was so long ago.
It's okay. Yeah, it was a bit long ago. So, like...
Oh, it's what we're up against. There we go.
Yeah, what we're up against. But the thing is, too, like, here's the thing. Here's a reason why men aren't attracted to women with kids, but it's not the same vice versa. It's really not, and I'll tell you why. The reason why it doesn't work the same way both ways is when a man enters a relationship with a woman who has kids already, the dynamics are very different. Number one, we can actually show a study. You know, let's do it. I wasn't even planning on bringing this up, but let's do it. Let me kind of read through here. It's that really big one. Do you have it, Chris? The 45 years of abuse? Yeah, do you have that one? That's that really big one that we were trying to show on that last episode with Chris and Aisha. I don't see it. Ooh, we don't have that.
You gotta tell me the name because I don't know.
It's titled 45 Years. It's 45 years. That's the first thing you're gonna see.
I'll check Discord real quick.
Okay, yeah, it's there. It's one of the first things on Discord. But basically, the reason why I want to bring this up, guys, is that gentlemen, you have to be very careful here. There it is.
Yeah.
That one. So, we open that or?
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've been waiting for this one. So here's the thing, like, we're not gonna show like every single thing that comes on here, but we're gonna have to kind of scroll through here a little bit and see what goes. Oh,
there you go.
We're gonna have to scroll through a little bit here because the thing is that I'm gonna bring up a very important here. This is by Rachel Wilson. Okay, she's married to Andrew Wilson. He's from the Whatever podcast and such. Great guy, and she's an awesome woman as well. Like she's in this fight also to kind of help out with relationships. She's on more on like the Christianity side, I believe. So she's cool. She studied feminism. She studied like women's suffrage movement, like the years of like the Industrial Revolution, like why we are now. So if you guys are interested in studying a little bit more about that, I believe she has a book as well explaining like the women's suffrage movement, feminism, and the the 19th Amendment and things like that, and why we are where we are now. So if we come down more, we're gonna have to find this one because this one's like 45 pages, 17.
Nice little picture here.
No, but this is 2 out of 17. Interesting. I thought this was like 45 pages. That's fine, no worries. So if we
do your highlights,
where are the highlights?
You didn't get the highlights. Oh no.
Oh. Here they are. Excellent. I was like, what are the highlights? So really quick, guys, I'm not gonna stay on this one for too long because I want to bring this whole thing up in like a later episode, but I need you guys to understand and women to understand this, okay? If we look at some of the graphs here, okay, we have some takeaways here, and we're not gonna go through every single thing, but just looking at the graph here, but me just kind of going over the highlights. Children living with a single parent with an unmarried partner had the highest incidence of physical abuse by far, more than 10 times the lowest rate.
Wow.
And if we come on to the next one, only 0.7 per 1,000 children with two married biological parents were sexually abused, compared to 12.1 per 1,000 children living with a single parent who had an unmarried partner. You see how insane that is?
Yeah.
And then I'll read this last one here. When it comes to emotional abuse, the rate of 15 per 1,000 children living with a single parent with an unmarried partner is more than 8 times higher than the rate for children with two married biological parents. And those are just 3 highlights. We don't have to go any more on this one, but I did just this one. So why did I bring this up, gentlemen, and for the ladies, okay? See,
we're just looking at the graph here.
Oh yeah, you can kind of go through that graph here. So here's the thing, guys. Like, this is more on the gentleman's side. I'm gonna go over the gentleman's side first. Based off the statistics that we just went off, just 3. Just 3. This whole study has a bunch, but we're only gonna go to just 3 because that's all we need right now. When you're going through, we've already talked about how women are more neurotic. They go through more negative emotions than men do. Way more. So this study alone, if you go down, which we won't, don't worry, that's for another one. We're going to show more studies on, or more statistics, on how domestic violence is even more on the female side versus the male side. But we'll save that. Don't you worry, we'll save that. And when a man gets into, I guess, a relationship, or I guess a situationship with a woman who has kids, understand these statistics. Just understand that. And on top of that, let's talk about some of the dynamics. The woman, for the most part, okay, she's probably still going to have her the biological father in the picture from the kids. That's number one. So he or he may not be, okay? But on top of that, from the female, if she's not getting resources, because again, women want resources. Their goal is to extract resources from the man. So if she's not able to extract resources from the biological father of her children, she has to extract them somewhere.
Right.
So if she can't extract them from a man, what's mostly going to happen first? Leftist ideals, democratic voting, more governmental benefits, more on welfare checks and government assistance. That's what's going to happen first. And
we all pay the price for that.
Yeah. Look what's happening there. You know, and again, we've already talked about the pandemic. Like, there's way more single mother households now than there ever was. That's a problem. That's a pandemic that we have to deal with. An epidemic.
Right.
There's a whole epidemiology study on those as well. You can find a whole bunch of those.
Mm-hmm.
And then, on top of that, she expects you to give resources as the man, the new guy that comes into the life. And on top of that, with the resources you're giving to her as the man, you are most likely not going to have authority over her children. Understand that. So she welcomes you giving your money, giving resources, taking them places, taking them to Disney World, getting lunch for them, getting groceries, buying them clothes, taking them to school, and then take them from school to work, take them to their soccer practices. But you cannot go around with them trying to raise them like they're your own, ordering them around, disciplining them the way you want, because guess what? The mom, the biological mother, most likely will not tolerate that. Even the kids will fight back to a certain degree and then give comments like, well, you're not my father, why should I listen to you? It's not worth it. It's totally not worth it. But
instead, it's a huge L for the man.
Oh yeah, it's a huge L for the man. Huge L for the man. Especially if the man cohabitates, the government's going to see that as like a marriage. So if they leave, what was the woman going to do? Try to get child support from him. Yep, absolutely. So now here it is on the other end, still applying the statistics, just 3 points. The dynamics are different actually on the woman's side. So the woman ends up getting into a relationship with a man. The woman is expecting to have authority over the children, but she's not expecting to have responsibility. You see the difference? You see that difference? So she's going to want to discipline and raise the children how she wants, and she doesn't want the man to say or give lip on anything like that. She expects that authority. But when it comes to now, as I mentioned before on the male side, going out, taking them out trips, paying for their things, paying for the school, paying for tuition, paying for their groceries, paying for clothes, all that stuff. She's like, oh, no, I'm not doing any of that. Because that's going to be the man's job. Yeah. So it's a total W for the woman, but it's a total L for the man.
Yeah, it's bad.
Again, we're not the same. Dynamics are totally different. Expectations are totally different on both ends. So we're not going to... What's this next one? Let's see. Why not? Let's see, because we already showed it. Why not? Let me see here. 68% of the maltreated children were maltreated by female.
Jesus.
By female. Whereas 48 were maltreated by male.
Damn.
See how insane that is? So, this is... I didn't want to bring this up, but Chris kind of spoiled it first. Thank you, Chris.
I mean,
you were curious. You're like, I want to see more.
I just want to see if there's more.
But there is. But just look at this. Like, and I even have a side note on the side. Women have been known to be more nurturing than men. However, data says otherwise. As to women being more abusive to their children, both biologically and non-biologically.
Wow.
You see how insane that is? And if we keep going a little bit more, and this is for you guys and everybody.
It's more emotional, man.
Yes.
It gets to them, bro. It gets to them. They're like, you know.
Yes, and we're not trying to dunk on girls here, okay, guys? Like, again, we're showing you the science, we're showing you the statistics. You do as you please with it. Our goal, once again, as the Unplugging, is to build awareness to both parties, both women and men, and trying to build problem-solving solutions for everybody, okay? But in order for us to help you guys out, we gotta tell you the what is, not things that don't exist, okay? Things that are fake, things that you just want to hear because you just don't want to hear the truth, okay? And moving forward here, we have of children maltreated by biological parents, mothers maltreated the majority, 75%, whereas fathers maltreated a sizable minority, 43%. In contrast, male perpetrators were more common for children maltreated by non-biological parents or parents and partners, 64%, or by other persons. Yeah. So
we're done with this study, or?
We're done with this one. Let's not spoil it anymore, because this is good stuff. Like this one has a bunch of good stuff. I don't want to spoil it anymore. So we spoiled a little bit for you guys on that one, but this goes to show you, like, when it comes to that, okay, the dynamics aren't the same, number one, because the woman expects to have authority with no responsibility when it comes to co-parenting, and then when it comes to the male side, the woman is expecting the man to have all the responsibilities of the world as if he's the biological father, but absolutely no authority. Absolutely no authority. And he can even be ostracized from the house, or if he's kind of a crazy guy, which is on the woman, because she is the one choosing men like that. If she chooses a crazy guy, guess what? He falls under the statistics. He falls directly under the statistics of kids being malnourished by non-biological parents. Okay? So keep that in mind of who you invite in your life when children are involved. Alright? So that we got that out of the way. That one was kind of like a ball out of left field there, but it's good that we at least brought that up. That was a good one. Oh yes. So moving on from that one, that was a nice little study there. So that's pretty much it, guys, for that one. And going on with Ivan Cervantes, it's a big L. Of course it's a big L. Like, why on earth is a man going to put in all his resources for a child that isn't even his?
Some men are desperate, man.
Not even his. And on top of that, the woman is basically going to use him as an ATM.
Yeah.
Women want providers.
Yeah.
In this situation, especially when the biological father has pretty much ditched the kid and ditched the mother, again, she needs assistance. She wants a provider. She wants provision. I know there are some people, she can get a job. Yeah, but what job is going to allow her to stay with her child, protecting the child, staying in the house, having her dream to be a housewife and just be the provider for the nurturer for the child, cleaning the house and maybe have like a little internet job for her to do, and she can still be with the child while the man does his thing and comes on back. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, she can't do that if she has a job. I don't think women understand that too well, to be honest. I'm just gonna say it. Like, you gotta understand, like, you can have these jobs, but how can you be a homemaker if you're not at the house?
You can't.
Yeah.
They don't think that far.
How can you nurture the kid if you're barely around the kid? How How can you raise the kid if you're barely raising the kid? If you're not there raising the child, and then the child is with somebody else? You just can't. You honestly just can't. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work. And then the statistics prove that. The statistics prove that. And we didn't even get onto the part where they're not around as much. That's in there. We'll get to that at another point. Yes. So now, let's touch upon something else here. I want to touch upon another attraction point here, okay? Gentlemen, women find men attractive when they are around other women. Like, we're going to hear this whole nonsense from the female side. We're always going to hear from girls like, oh, I don't think it's attractive when the guy's a bunch around other men. That's not sexy.
Yeah, bullshit.
Ladies, let's be for real here, okay? Let's be for real. The reason why you find, and we're about to show you a study here, just one out of like maybe, I don't know how many that I found. I'll show you just one. Showing you guys are attracted to men who are attracted to other women because that reassures you that he is a good option. And of course, Ivan, thank you for the support on that. Like, yes, you honestly, you're gonna sit here and tell me that you think that a man is gonna be attractive when he sits in a basement by himself playing video games, getting fat all day, that he's attractive? You think that him just sitting at McDonald's, him sitting at a restaurant corner by himself, doing absolutely nothing, you're gonna tell me that that's attractive? Absolutely not! No. Absolutely not, man. Come on! Even if he's fit, even if he's in shape, and he happens to somewhat look perceptive-wise, maybe high value, if a woman sees a guy of that same stature with a bunch of other women, guess where she's going? Who she's going to? She's going to the man that has other women. That's how it is. That too, yeah. And Ivan, we have a study. There's a study that I didn't bring up this time, but next time. There's a study I want to bring up next time where the woman finds the man way more attractive when the woman who he's with is more attractive than her.
Yeah.
Like, there's just no way. Like, it's because it shows the woman that if other women are finding him attractive and arousal, there are reasons for that. It's pre-qualification. It's pre-selection is what it's called. Because the man is basically letting a woman who's attracted to him know, look at all these women who are surrounding me. They want me for reasons. They're around me because of A, B, C, and D. Mm-hmm. Why? Because does he give good security? Does he have money? Is he charismatic? Is he funny? Does he have businesses? Does he have assets? Can he provide? Does he, like, what? They're gonna find certain things. They're gonna find reasons as to why. So that's why. Let's go ahead and pull up this one other study here. It's, let me kind of see here. I think I named it something. There it is. Women find men more attractive around, yes. Alright, guys. And again, this is just one. This is one study. Only one out of like maybe 5 or 6 or 10 that I was able to find. But I chose this one. So check this out. Just going off here, we have the mere presence of opposite sex, others on judgments of sexual and romantic desirability. Opposite effects for men and women. Jumping off the gun here, looking at our first highlight, women rated men more desirable when shown surrounded by women than when shown alone or with other men. Just that. And apparently this is called the desirability enhancement effect. All right?
I think they've seen this with monkeys as well. You know,
I talked about that in a previous episode. Yeah. But, okay, sorry ladies, I gotta break it to you here. It is not the same the other way around. Why? Because men and women are not the same. In sharp contrast, men rated women less desirable when shown surrounded by men than when shown alone or with women.
Oh yeah.
So it's not the same. So every time, I even brought this up, I didn't even have to bring this up in one episode. But ladies, this goes back to even social media. Like, this is the same thing as when you guys are posting provocative photos online and a bunch of guys are getting thirst trapped. They're commenting with eggplant emojis, banana emojis, sweaty face emojis, water drop emojis saying, oh, you're so sexy, blah, blah, blah. That is the equivalent of a woman being surrounded by a bunch of guys in a setting.
Even in pictures, when you take pictures with a guy and then you swipe and it's like another picture with another guy and a different guy and a different guy.
It's not attractive. It's not attractive. Like you guys, because the thing is that women know that their agency is within their sexuality when it comes to online and things like that. So, ladies, if you're gonna act single, trust me, there are gonna be trade-offs with that. This is the trade-off. Men do not find women attractive when they are around a bunch of other men. They don't. They just don't. You, on the other hand, women find other men attractive when they're around other women because you guys want different things. Men and women want different things.
Yeah.
But don't worry, we're gonna go deeper into that with another study. Don't you worry. We're gonna go way deeper into that. Don't you worry. So just going off that, this is a study that was published in 2008. Right.
Yeah.
And if we're coming down here, I have some highlights here. This is, I think it's one of the bigger studies. So check this out. So this is one of the first tests. So study number 1. Do men and women use the presence of same-sex others as desirability assessment heuristic? All right. Now this one here, going with my highlight, the desirability enhancement hypothesis predicts that women will judge male target persons as being significantly more desirable when surrounded by women than when depicted alone or surrounded by other men. Conversely, the desirability diminution hypothesis predicts that men will judge female target persons as being significantly less desirable when surrounded by men than when depicted alone or surrounded by other men. So we already had a hypothesis placed on this one.
Okay.
I would say it's more like a self-answer, like a self-depicted answer right there, you know what I mean? But if we kind of come on here, we're not going to go through all this extra stuff here. And going with the materials, a total of 10 target male stimuli and 10 target female stimuli depicted in 3 conditions for a total of 30 stimuli of each sex, each selected by 2 research assistants blind to the purpose of the study. All targets were college-aged men and women between the ages of 18 and 22. The mean was 19. And what was this one? Men 19 and women 18. Gotcha, okay.
Yeah.
I was looking at the M's. I thought those were like men, but it's mean, yeah. Okay, so kind of going down here a little bit more. There's a graph here. Here's the graph, okay. So ladies and gentlemen, okay, here's your answer. Here's, again, answers. The unplugging, our goal is we're going to keep giving you answers to these types of things, okay? There's no way we're going to just outright just say something, even though anecdotally or empirically it could be correct based on just our own experiences and what we see on everyday activities. Okay, that's not enough for us. It's just not.
I thought it would go down a little lower than this, but
yeah. But if we look here, okay, look how significantly different it is.
Yeah, it is.
Just look how it is. Like, this is just one study. This is one study out of like so many that we can find. But if we see here, we're looking at opposite sex desirability judgments based on stimulus conditions. Now, looking on the left, okay, we have male judgment of females. Males judging females when it comes to the clear white is same sex, the horizontal diagonal lines alone by herself, and then all black with the opposite sex. So if we see here, we can see on the left we have the desirability rating. So it goes from 3 to 7, and then we have everything else. Okay.
Alone goes down a little bit.
So we see here, check this out. We have the male judgment from the females. Right. So when males are judging females, you can see the highest is when women are around other women. The highest.
Yeah, that's a little weird. You know what?
Barely.
I think these little college kids are not smart enough, bro. Because if they would have been smarter, they would have not liked this one as much, and alone would be on top. In my opinion.
But even this just shows, like, look at the difference.
I prefer alone, you know what I'm saying?
No, of course. Absolutely.
Like, having too many female friends, I don't even like that either.
Well, see, here's the thing. For me, if they're alone, fine. If they're with other girls because they're just being around.
It's not that bad.
But you also have to get the friends, too. That's the thing. Because, again, if they have propensities and bad behaviors in which now you have to watch out for, birds of a feather flock together. Right. We mentioned that in our red flags video. It was our second one. It was our second one, so we mentioned that. You gotta vet the friends also. But you can see here, again, this is just one study. We can pull up many more in another video or something. But you can see here, alone, and when she's around other females, they're equivocal. They're about the same. But look at the difference when she's around the opposite sex. It drops.
Yeah.
Like, there's a drop. It's not a huge entire drop, but I guarantee you, if you pull up other studies, similar to this one, I guarantee you it's going to be similar, or probably an even greater effect with different age groups.
For sure.
Now, if we look at this one, look at the differences here. Look at the female judgment with males. Women find men around other women more attractive.
Right.
Look at that. It's a staggering difference.
And if it's like the same sex, they want that social proof, like.
Yeah, if he's around other like high value men
Yeah.
and entrepreneurs, things like that. And again, you mentioned
loneliness is the worst.
yeah, and again, you mentioned like college children, college guys, things like that, right? Women. So their maturity is going to be a little bit different. I get that, but even then, just look at that. Even on the male side, when they're not like a person's brain doesn't fully develop until they reach like age 25.
Right.
So when and these are guys, you gotta also understand that like a lot of these guys, and we've pulled up studies too, that 1 in 3 men are still virgins or haven't had sex within a year. So a lot of them don't know better. So
that's what I'm saying. I think they're not wise.
but even so, right? Like we can throw that statistic out, right?
Right.
And if you just look at this one, look at the difference.
It is.
Like there's still a pretty good difference here that David's like, yeah, I prefer a woman who is hanging out with the same sex or is just by herself. But the moment she's with other guys, like, maybe not. I'd rather not. So take that into consideration.
Right.
But there's no way, like, no one's going to prove the Unplugging wrong on this one. No one's going to be like, oh, like, we don't find men with other women attractive. No. Absolutely not. We can prove this empirically, anecdotally, and most importantly, statistically, we can prove this.
Yeah.
So that, I don't think there's anything else here. We can scroll down a little bit more. I don't think there are any other studies. There's a graph there, but let me see here. Same-sex desirability judgments based on stimulus. That one's different. That one's going to be slightly different.
Personality and okay, it's a different topic.
Yeah, that's different. I didn't want to cover up on that one. I just wanted to talk about
We're done with this.
yeah. So we're done with that. So again, gentlemen, let me see. We'll go with everything here. Let's see here, especially when you're a hot chick. Yeah, of course. Like the hotter that you are, the hotter the woman is, the more she's gonna want it.
Right.
I could write a book on this. Yeah, I bet you can. Right? I'll read it. I'll definitely read it, man. Like we need to have more insight on this. And yeah, I haven't come on the podcast, bro. We love to have you on the podcast. Let's have discussions. Let's talk about trends. Let's talk about studies. Let's do all that. Let's talk about like your experiences and things like that. I'd be more than happy to have you on the show. Come on. So we're done with that one here. So gentlemen, like don't fall for this nonsense. Okay. I think one thing I'm gonna add on here for the gentlemen is women are gonna say 10,000 cajillion things to kind of sway you off your mission to throw a competency test on you. That's one. You have to judge women and do certain things with a woman based on how she responds, based on her behavior, not what she says. A man's actions are not going to be dictated by what a woman says and what a woman thinks. It's how she responds by her behavior patterns. Understand that. So a girl can tell me all day long, I'm not attracted to guys who are swamped by women. Okay, but why did you just come to me? We're having a conversation right now, and we're on a date right now. I can make 10,000 cajillion examples on this. Oh, well, I'm not really into fit guys. Okay, but we're on a date. We've been vetting together for 3 months. I'm a fairly fit guy. Oh, I'm not into guys who are into reading books. Well, I've read like 30-something books and I'm still reading, so what's your point? You know what I mean? So you gotta go by their behaviors. Mm-hmm. It's always gonna be how they respond to the stimuluses that are given to them. Not by what they think, not by what they say, because at the end of the day, we talked about this. This is like general common knowledge. This is the whole axiom. Women go by their emotions. I talked about this in one of our other videos. They're gonna live the moment. Whatever they're feeling at the moment, that's what they're gonna go with. That's exactly what they're gonna go with. Logic goes out the window. Rationalities go out the window. They're gonna go off and behave based on how they feel on something. So if they feel attracted, guess how they're gonna behave? They're going to behave accordingly to what they're attracted to. If they're aroused by a guy, guess what? They're going to behave based on how aroused they are from the guy. Mm-hmm. Always. Not by what they say and what they think. Okay? Remember that. Just remember that. Finally, we can wrap up here a little bit.
All right.
I want to show a little bit more on when it comes to, we can talk a little bit about chastity and we can talk about social status. Okay? Our final study here that I want to pull up.
A lot of studies tonight, huh?
Yeah, we got a lot of studies here, guys. Like that's the unplugging here, guys. Okay, welcome to the unplugging. Like where we give you guys science, statistics, theories, hypothesis, synopsises. Like we're gonna give it to you. Okay, we're gonna give it to you 100% and sources, citations from books, all that. The last one here. Did we have that one? This one's called Sexual Theory.
Sexual theory?
Where is it? Ooh, it's not here. It's on the Discord.
It is?
Yeah. Yeah, it's before the last 4 that I put up.
Oh, okay, I see.
Oh, yeah. Now, we're not going to show the whole thing here. We're only going to show like 2 points here. 2 points, because this one's a bit of a doozy. There it is, on the top right.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, gentlemen and ladies. Here we go. So you guys really want to know what are the core strategies for both male and females. You really want to know what we look for? Here it is. There's about, I don't know how many studies with this one, but this was published in 1993.
Wow.
And lo and behold, guess what, David Buss? Look at that. So we have, let me see here. It says here we have like 22 predictions from sexual strategies. That's a lot. Now, of course, we're not going to go through all this. There's a bunch of things to cover. It's 29 pages, so we're not going to go through all 29 pages, of course. Let's scroll down here. I want to talk about, because there's probably only 2 that I want to talk about. I'm not going to get to all this stuff. We'll bring this up in another video. Look at this one here, guys. Okay? All right? Okay. Now, look at this. Okay? Like, I don't know how many times the unplugging at this point has covered what women want and what men want in return and vice versa. What we look for. We're not the same.
Right.
We want different things. There are going to be some similarities, very few. But the big ones that matter, they're different.
Women don't understand that at all.
I'm also going to say some men don't understand that either. Like, there's a lot of just discrepancies going on in the market. So we got to, it's our job.
True. Yeah.
So we got to check this out. So what are we looking at here? So table 1, mate selecting problems men and women confront in short-term and long-term mating context. So let's talk about the short-term. The short stuff that doesn't really matter too much going into the long run, okay? And I think this is where both male and female get confused on, because they conflate short-term and long-term strategies. They think they're the same, but they're not. They're absolutely not. And this is also where I'm going to say women struggle. They struggle because they conflate short-term and long-term. The men do to a certain degree, but if we're going to talk about women getting ran through and women getting ran through in circles by men, this is what happens when they don't understand the differences between short-term and long-term strategies. Yeah. So going off the short-term here, look at this. This is for the ladies, okay? For the ladies, what men want, okay, when it comes to the short-term, it's going to be their problem, a mate selection problem on the male side is they want to find the least amount of partners or no partners at all when it comes to the female side. That's number 1. You see it there. Number 1 on the male side, short-term problem of partner numbers, okay? Number 2, problem of identifying which women are sexually accessible. Again, men look for what? Sex and availability.
Right.
If they cannot have those from the transaction, okay, it's a waste of time for the men. That is the short-term strategy. We've said this over and over again. Women want attention, validation, and resources from the guy. And you're going to see that on the short-term and the long-term side. And problem of fertility. Surprisingly, the problem of fertility is a short-term problem. I thought that was going to be more long-term, to be honest with you. But the fact that it's a short-term, I commend that for being a short-term because we're thinking a little ahead of certain things. But then we look at the women's side. Look how different it is. It's not the same. Problem of immediate resource extraction. What did I just say? Women want attention, validation, and resources. That does not change. And then moving forward on this one, problem of mate switching, mate explosion, and mate backup. The 50% of them who look for partners, even when they're in relationships, we can invoke that study again whenever we want to. And
more like 100%, but go.
You see, there's differences. But now let's go on to the long term. Look at the differences here. Again, number 1 on the male side, long term, problem of paternity confidence. What does that mean? if she's into sex work, if she's had a high body count, if she has a bad past, if she already has children, if she still involves herself in other men's lives and entertaining them, she has drug issues, she has bipolar disorder, BPD, things like that. Yeah. That is what that means. All right, but we even brought up a study. We invoked a study in some episode, one other episode, where the more partners she has, the more likely she's going to cheat.
Yeah.
We had a range 2 to 4. 2 to 4. They are 6 times likely to cheat in a marriage, not in like an LTR, a marriage.
Yeah.
How bad is that?
It's terrible.
Terrible. And then number 2 here, problem with female reproductive value. Again, like if she's not in her 20s and 30s, guess what, gentlemen? She's going to have fertility problems.
Yep.
And we even said in another episode, if a woman has a larger waist to hip ratio, that decreases her ability of fertility. Because now you're talking about high blood pressure, you're talking about diabetes, you're talking about atherosclerosis, you're talking about all those things that will inherently affect her ability to be fertile. Okay? And then we're going on to the female side. Problem of identifying men who are able to invest. That's what I was mentioning before. I totally forgot I even highlighted this part, to be honest with you. But like I said before, ladies, as I said, if the man is not willing to invest in you, guess what? It's a waste of time. If he's investing in other women, I think we brought that up, then what are you doing? You're a side girl to him. He's not prioritizing you. He's not giving you the resources that you're craving for, that you want. So what are you doing? That is a vetting skill that you, as the woman, and all women have to understand. If he's not willing to give resources, you can't extract any resources from him. What are you doing? Yeah. What are you doing at that point? Number 2, problem of identifying men who are willing to invest. That was marked twice here. Who are willing and able to invest. Okay, yeah. So that's another problem. Another mate selecting problem. If he's able to, that's one thing. But will he? Is another battle. Is another conundrum you're gonna have to figure out. Number 3, problem of physical protection. We just went through all the notes here. We just went through all the studies regarding V shape, the shoulders, the deep voice, the chiseled jawline. Like we went through all that, the height, all that markers protection for the woman. Always. They're never gonna. I just don't like when women lie about this. I'm gonna be very honest with you. Either they lie about it or they just don't want to say it. If I want to talk to a woman,
I think they're being nice when they cover shit like this. That's what they think, though. You know, they'd rather seem like they're nice and like, oh yeah, but in reality, this is reality right here.
Of course. And then just looking at some of the similarities, like here's where we all can kind of come as one being. Okay, like problem of commitment, that's on both ends. Mm-hmm. Problem of good parenting skills, same thing. Yeah. Problem of gene quality, okay.
Yeah. I agree with all
those are reasonable similarities. We have to, like, I want to have a healthy mother.
Right.
I want her to be in good health. I don't want her to have problems.
Yeah.
I want her to be able to have the ability to raise my children, like she cares for children, things like that. I want her to have good qualities of genes. Like, I have my preferences for features, like I like her to have black hair and blue eyes and things like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So those are the types of things, and I wrote the note here. Mates selected for both men and women are extraordinarily different. Again, ladies and gentlemen, we want different things, okay? Just because you want this, that doesn't mean the man wants that same thing. Just because a man wants this, that doesn't mean you're gonna want it. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Like we got to get out of this. Get out of this stigma that we want the same things like that. We don't. We just don't. The final thing I do want to show here, let's scroll down here. Well, maybe 2 more things, actually. We can wrap up. What's this one here? Nah, we can talk about that another time, actually. Yeah, that's a nice highlight. Oh, what's this one here?
Okay.
Yeah, also, what's this one here? Short term, long term. Nah, that's not, we'll talk about that another time. We just keep scrolling down. Because there's a chastity one. And a social... Okay, let's talk about this one. I do want to talk about this one here because there's another stigma that, we have women, especially with feminism, on their side. Why do you care about body count? Why do you care that we're experienced?
I feel like we explained this so many times,
Have we?
Yeah.
Have we?
The more body count, the more likely they're cheat.
Yeah, we've done that. But here, look at that. Here's another one. Like, here's another one. Look at this. And now this isn't even coming from marriages and relationships failing because of high body count. Now we're digging into the psychology of what men think when it comes to this stuff. Look at this. Table number 2. Let's scroll down a little bit here. Now, there's a lot here, but I'm only going to highlight this one thing here, okay? Look at the dislikes, okay? Look at the dislikes. I have in the red box here, not sexually experienced. So we have on the dislikes, okay? Now, this is going off, if you can see kind of here, some of them are going to be negatives and some of them are going to be like in the positives, right? So the negatives are going to be a little bit more towards what's not going to be positively correlated with a topic, with a subject, and when they're more on the positive, they're more positively correlated. Okay, so if we look here, and I'm going to demonstrate to you what this means right here. Now, if we look here, we have the columns here. We have short term again, the mean, and we have long term. Okay, now if we look at short term here once again, it's in the negatives. So what are we talking about? So if this is talking about men valuing and disliking more short term versus the long term. We can see here in the short term, it's in the negatives. So what does that mean for the viewers who are probably wondering, okay, what does this mean? That means men don't care if your body count is so high short term, because you're not going to be the main girl. Right. You're not going to be the one they take serious. Like if you're more experienced, it's like, okay, yeah, fine. You know, like the guy's probably gonna have a better time with you, because you're more familiar. You're more familiar with like positions. You're more familiar with how to pleasure the guy and things like that. So that doesn't matter to him short term. So understand this, ladies. Okay, understand that it's different when a man is not going to take you serious. Of course, he's not going to care. And we're even going to talk about beta males too. Like the beggars can't be choosers. They're going to take what they can get.
That's true.
They're going to take what they can get. So if the person has a high body count, that's the best that they think that they can do. They're going to go for whatever they can. Okay. Yeah. And then when it goes to the long term, look at the difference. It went from negative 0.43 to positive 0.52. And if we look here at the bottom, okay, the effect sizes, the gammas and things like that, they signify the difference between means and standard deviation units. Defines effects as small if they are 0.20, medium if they are 0.50, and large if they are 80 and greater. So we look at this, they're medium. Okay, so it went from the negative, so this is small, going from small, very, very small, to medium. So they care way more about your sexual experience long term, way more. Past 50. Okay, so past like the medium expectations, things like that. So yes, ladies, men do care about body count. Men do care about your past. They care about your sexual experience. Positively when they're not taking you seriously, and negatively when you are being taken serious. All right? So just understand that, like, men want women who don't have a bad past and they don't have any sort of sexual experience whatsoever. Idealistically, understand that. Like, we said this so many times, and we're showing you now psychologically what they're looking for and what they mean, all right? One more thing here to show. Final thing before we wrap up here. Last one, let's scroll down a bit more here. There's one on social status, all right? Yep. That's not the one. Okay, what's this one? No, that's not the one either. I know, it's here somewhere. It's a big study, guys. There's like a bunch of stuff going on. Okay. All right, wait, this one here? This one? This might... Maybe. There's another one. There's another one when it comes to social status.
We don't want men who can provide and give... Oh, we know this already, though.
Yeah.
We just covered it in this whole podcast.
How many times, right?
Yeah.
A little bit more. Oh, wait, that might be the one. Okay. All right, here we go.
Sperm resource potential. Okay.
Women's male preferences, once again. So for those who keep on saying, oh, like, he doesn't have to have like a big, gigantic job. He doesn't have to make a lot of money. This, that. Absolutely not. Look at this. I didn't highlight anything on here, but just my little note there. Just look at the differences. Look at all these differences and significances. Look at the stars where it says T-test. That shows the greatest differences. And if we see on my side, men are judged for their futures. How many times have I said that?
Quite a lot.
And while women are judged for their past. So women are going to judge men for their futures. And if we look here, look at the characteristics. Has a promising career, has good financial prospects, likely to succeed in a profession, likely to earn a lot of money, has a reliable future career, unable to support you financially poor. Oh, those are the things that they don't like. Like, look at the negatives. They're all in the negatives. Like, that's not something that women want.
Lack of ambition, that's a big one.
That's not what women want. And then we look here at the top, like...
Uneducated, wow.
Yeah. So again, like, they're all in the negatives. All in the negatives, and then you see up. What is the most predominant one here for the mean? Okay.
Uneducated.
All right. So for the uneducated, that's for long term. Yeah, that's not good. But what's the most prominent one for the good stuff? Long term. I want to see the long term. So the most dominant one is
260, right? Right here.
270.
270.
270. So it has a reliable
future and career. Yeah.
Do I have to say it again? Men are judged for their futures. Another study that clearly states that men have to have a potential to sell a future. Okay? So I'm not going to go too far more into this one here. Like, again, you guys have the autonomy and agency to look at all these studies. I think that's about it here. There's another one when it comes to social statuses and careers, but it's not on here. But look at all the references here. Look at all the citations. Look at all the studies. Right. There's so many of them. There's so many, but of course we're not gonna go through all of them. But that's basically it, guys. Like this is it, guys. Like again, the unplugging. Our goal, as always, is that we gotta make you guys more aware of what goes on around here. Like, there's how on earth can a man approach a woman if she doesn't know idealistically, innately what she wants? How is a woman, vice versa, gonna approach a man if she's not willing to understand the man to a certain degree, and she's not willing to even mold herself to the guy's liking? How? It's just not going to work. It's just purely not going to work. Do you have any remarks on this, Chris? Do you have anything you kind of want to add on here?
No, I think we covered it, man. I think we covered everything.
Well, guys, that is it. Okay, these are some of the mate selecting strategies and some other things we mentioned in which women use and innately have when they're choosing men, okay? I don't know how much we covered here. We covered God knows how many things here, but I hope after tonight, this is for both men and women, but ladies, okay? Don't be scared. This is for you ladies. Don't be scared to, biologically go with what's instinctually good for you, okay? Like, if you're beautiful and pretty and you've held value for yourselves, again, like, women want it all, but also be realistic based on your youth, your fertility, your age, your beauty, your past, your ability to respect the men and to keep the men and to get the guy you want. Like, there's a lot of variables that play into that, so you gotta be realistic about that. Mm-hmm. But this is it, guys, and this is for the gentlemen also. Like, okay, like, we've shown you guys gotta be, be tall, chiseled jawline, torso, shoulder to hip waist ratio, deep voice. Like, again, you don't have to have all that. You're short, guess what? Be muscular and have a future. Build yourself. If you're tall, but you don't really have much going for you, okay, be a man of a mission and start building yourself. So you see, there's a lot of ways you can fix yourself around that within your own abilities. But if you're going to be complacent with yourself, and you're not going to try, you're not going to build yourself, and you're just going to be fully content with yourself and just sit in the corner and say, okay, well, that's about it. This is all I got going for me. I'm lazy. I don't want to do anything, but I'm going to be delusional, and then I'll just wait for the woman to come my way. No. Not going to happen.
Forever. Yeah.
Not going to happen.
You're going to die single.
Not going to happen. Not at all.
Yeah.
But, good night, Ivan. Good night. We'll definitely talk again later on. If we can get you on the show, that'd be nice. And with that, guys, that'll wrap up for tonight. We hope you guys have a good 4th of July, all right? And Chris, are we going to be doing something for the 4th of July, or you want to do a little bit of an episode here?
You're free and I'm free, like, we'll see. We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out, guys. We'll figure it out. So if anything, if we don't get a video out, that's okay. We'll follow up the next following week. This is Chris and Leo from the Unplugging, signing out.
All right, good night, guys.